Okay, we're looking at mixed exercise 5 from the first year core textbook, so we're on straight line graphs. On question 16, okay, so use the distance formula. So the distance between the points x1, y1 and x2, y2 is basically just using Pythagoras. So the distance would be, and it doesn't actually matter which way around you subtract. So the difference between the two x coordinates squared plus the difference between the two y coordinates squared, all square rooted. Okay, so the first thing they've asked us to do is do that generally in terms of all those coordinates in terms of a. So I'll take this. Actually, no. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'll do this coordinate, subtract this coordinate. It doesn't matter. So it's going to be 2a. I don't know, I'm doing the y coordinates first. Let's do the x coordinates first. So it's going to be minus 3a minus 4a all squared plus 2a minus a all squared. Obviously, so this is going to end up being minus 7a, but when I square it, it's going to be 49a squared. So it doesn't matter which way around you subtract, because it doesn't matter whether it's a negative or not. Okay, so that is going to be 7. So the first set of brackets is 7a all squared. So that's, well, minus 7a all squared. So that's going to be 49a squared. The second set of brackets is just going to be 1a squared. So a squared. So d is the square root 50a squared. So just be really careful with your square root there. So if I write it like that, everything is under the square root. Or, because obviously I can square root a squared, I could write it like that. But I need to be clear in the second version, so in this version here, the a is not under the square root. I think for what we want to do with the rest of the question, that's going to be the slightly easier version to use. Okay, so then it just asks us to do it with pairs of coordinates. Now, to be honest, you could just go back and you could just find the distance between those pairs of coordinates, but it does say hence, so we do want to use our previous answer. So what basically, if we have a look, all of these pairs of coordinates, I think, should follow this pattern. So if a is 1, looking at those y coordinates, 4a would be 4, minus 3a would be 3, and 2a would be 2. So basically, if a is 1, and we're saying we're using this formula here, d is root 50 times 1, so root 50. So obviously that's a lot quicker than doing it all from scratch. And as I said, it does say hence, so we should be using our previous answer. Okay, so this should follow the same pattern as well. So this is the easier coordinate to look at. So if a is 3, 4a would be 12. Yep, that works. Minus 3a would be minus 9. 2a would be 6. Okay, so yeah, that follows the same pattern where a is 3. So d is root 50 times a. So root 50 times 3. So 3 root 50. Problem with this question is if part A is wrong, obviously everything else is going to be wrong. So I'm hoping it's not. Okay, and then, yeah, same thing here. So a is minus 5. So 4a would be minus 20. Minus 3a would be positive 15, and 2a would be minus 10. So, yeah, that follows the pattern. So d is root 50. Okay, so actually this is an interesting one. So root 50 times minus 5. So if I just did that without really thinking about it, I would say, okay, so that's minus 5 root 50. But obviously, it's supposed to be a distance. So that means it really does not make sense. When I square rooted, I just, because it was a length, I just said square root of a squared is a. But obviously that could have been plus or minus a. So as an actual distance, obviously distance can't be negative, so I'm just interested in the magnitude of that, so it would be 5 root 50. Okay, so let's just hope that our previous answer was correct. Yeah, so actually that is a good thing to consider. They didn't mention simplifying? No, okay, so I'll use the excuse it didn't mention simplifying, but root 50 does simplify down, so that really would not have been a bad idea. So 50 is 25 times 2, so that can be 5 root 2. So that would be 5 root 2 all multiplied by 3, and that would be 5 root 2 all multiplied by 5. Okay, so I think I would have got away with that, but obviously if it had said, simplifying your answers, then leaving everything in terms of root 50 would not have been okay.